We are live. Let me pull it up over here. Hi, guys. For anybody that's here yet, let's see. Let me go to my channel. See if it's, yep, it's showing it's live. Yep, and we're live. And we have some people here. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Yeah. So, what's been happening in your guys' lives? A lot of craziness?
Yes.
Is that an understatement?
I would say so.
Yes. Yeah.
It's getting real.
Yes. And what was it? You each had watched earlier, and I didn't have time to watch the whole thing. There, yet again, the ex-security chief
Of the Pentagon.
of the Pentagon is saying, yes, that they are extraterrestrial and or interdimensional, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Pentagon confirmed that.
Hello.
Did we not? I'm just saying. Okay, got to toot our own horns here for just a second. In 2020, did we not do a panel saying it would happen this year?
It was coming, exactly. Well, guess what, guys?
Yeah.
Sucks to be right, man.
Yeah. Hi, Denise. Hi, Lady Blind Wolf. How are you guys doing? So, is anybody, I remember correctly, any information regarding extraterrestrial was supposed to be made public as of this month? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's around the 21st.
Yep, it's coming. They're still going to do it.
Yeah.
Multiple presidents have already spoken about it too and said they're aware of it and have been.
You believe it and you think that Trump had something to do with making that information public? Really?
Well, he did sign an executive order.
Yeah, he did. And
that any entity, any government entity was sitting on, including NASA, they had to release any files. Had to be delivered to the public.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is? I'm of two minds right now because Carla, you and I were talking before YouTube, before we even started watching Cosmic Disclosure or any of that stuff. And we were talking about hearing about an alien invasion that was going to be coming, that was one of the conspiracy theories that it was. Also, we've talked about this, what's happening in the world with the pandemic coming and the vaccine too.
It could be one of two things. If people are aware and they start seeing these things, depending on what they think that agenda is, they can either make the whole lot of them look bad so that we aren't learning the truth about things, or it could be for actual disclosure. I'm thinking if it's political, that it's the other.
I'm thinking that we're in a time where people don't trust our governments anymore. They're asking questions. A lot of people are pushing for answers, and rightfully so. And I think we've kind of backed them into a corner now with all these experiences to where they're like, okay, well, we kind of have to disclose it now. But do I feel they could spin this to form their own agenda and use it? Of course. But I also have faith that perhaps, other beings may hopefully intervene.
Yeah. I think it's about time. This is nothing new. I mean, it's not like when I was a little kid, Mom said, God is an alien. It's not for Carla and I, this is always something that we knew was coming, and somehow my mom knew this was coming. Who knows? But so we've always been looking for it. I've always been attracted to like Star Trek and Star Wars and, looking at the stars and all that stuff, knowing somehow that it was coming. Now, after reading, because Carla, I've talked about it before on this channel a couple years ago about Dolores Cannon. Okay, we're just going to get right into it about Dolores Cannon. But Carla, since she was working, I told her, get some books. Do like Audible, listen to it while you're working. So she started doing that, and she's gone through so many damn books. It's like insane. So we have like this private chat that we're always doing, and Carla's coming back and saying, "Oh my gosh, I just listened to this book. You're not going to believe it." So we started, and I know that Courtney, you've also been watching Dolores Cannon's channel for a couple of years now, right?
Yes.
And you know the stuff that she's done with her daughter and all that. Well, so I started listening to the Custodians. I think Carla, did you just finish the Custodians, or
It's probably been about a month ago. Now I'm on the Convoluted Universe Part 1.
okay? So as we were listening to some of these, and what I mean by some of these is actual sessions rather than her shows, because her show, she talks about these things, but in her book, she's actually revealing the whole conversations with these regressed people. I mean, you're hearing the aliens talking through people.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And some of the things that they were saying that they did was like, really? Because that happened to me. I mean, so many things that she's talking with different clients. I was like, it was like realization.
Yes.
And then you start going back and looking through your whole life.
Yep.
Yeah. Talking about what's it called?
Sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis, yes. The ringing in the ear, the vibrating,
Losing time.
loss of time, even memories. Even down to the thing of saying, well, you know, if somebody's going and getting regressed, and them saying, and this happened to me too, me going, oops, I got to turn that off, but me saying, I don't know if this is really my own imagination. They even put stuff like that in people's heads so that they're questioning it before the time, but they are working through people. They just don't remember it. I mean, dreams, everything. It's all communications. There's communications happening.
Yes, because I think when you started reading that the other day, and then you kind of were looking back at all that, I got in touch with you guys about my boys and I, like right at the exact same time on this same day. It was like all these memories flooded to all three of us, and we were sitting there like simultaneously just letting it flow out of our mouths what was coming to us and what we were remembering. And it was also the same day I saw the man shift this week. So
yeah, tell everyone about that. Oh my God, what day was that?
The same day that the boys and I got our memories triggered.
Oh, it was later that day, right?
Later, yep. I went outside to smoke, and a Amazon van had pulled into the parking lot. And I look over, you know, thinking nothing of it. And I see this guy, and it took me a moment to process like what I was seeing. But he had shifted slightly into a reptilian and grew in size, and it happened so quick, and it like morphed and then morphed back. And before I even had a chance to react to this, by his look, he knew before I even reacted that I had seen him. I was like, nope. You know, it freaked me out. I was like, what was that? Because also with the memories, we realized they've been operating on us, hybridization. These are all now realities, and not only mine, but my children and many other people's lives. I think we're all kind of experiencing things together. And it's positive. I do just want to add, so people don't get afraid. Yes, we have marks. Like, for example, my son hurt his back when he was younger. Now he has a large scar across his lower back that it's unexplainable. Looks surgical too. And his back has not had any pain since. And then I've noticed things.
And that was an old injury from when he was younger, right?
Yes.
So you believe that they have corrected it.
Right. And so does he.
Yeah. There's talks about that in the books as well.
Yeah.
Them coming in and fixing ailments in people, especially the ones that are, and here's another thing, like dreams and stuff. Dreams that you like had 20, 30 years ago when you were kids and stuff, right?
Yes.
That they were all important, and that they started contacting people from the time that they were really little, putting things into people in order to track where they're at, track their medical so that they can come in and fix. And it's not that they always wanted people to, keep in mind also that this particular one I was listening to was from the 80s, like 86 to 89, I believe. But, and there's other ones after that, and other ones that Carla's listened to, but that they were actually having contact with these people for a long time because they knew that there was probably a time that was going to come when disclosure was going to happen, that these people were ready in order to start revealing that information.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to, because you guys got a memory about the little girl y'all used to play with. And I think around that same day, too, you were talking about that. I had remembered and did not remember this my whole life up until the other day. The orbs. I remember being a child and playing with them at slumber parties, like showing my friends these orbs. And I was just like, wow, they've been with me. Like, it was that realization they've been here this whole time. And I was none the wiser until recently, especially after I'd met you guys, you know.
I just, another thing that they talked about having interactions with little kids. One of them was a woman. She was an adult, but she was being regressed to when she was a little girl, and they were coming in and taking her out through the window. Okay. And they would lift her up out of the bed. I mean, literally physically take her body. And it's like, time is not the same thing, they said. So they could get away with it. So the child would be floating, and they would take them if the window was open or closed. They said it didn't really matter. And she said that it would drop her back down when they were done. And it seemed like every single time that they would drop her back down, that she would fall off of her bed. I remember Carla falling off of her bed. I remember, well, I don't remember. I remember my being told that my aunt found me floating, came in because I was crying, found me floating and grabbed me more than once.
Wow.
As well as that event that happened. And, you know, I remember something grabbing me from underneath of the bed.
Right.
Was that them? Because she said that she would wake up and they would be like hovering over her in her bed and doing like prodding all over her body and stuff.
Yeah.
And not that they were bad. They weren't bad. It's just the fear that we have.
Yes.
So let's see what some people are saying here. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's all right. Jaden has mentioned that, the falling off the bed. And then my older son will be missing clothes. That's something really bizarre that he is even upset about. He wakes up and they're missing nowhere in the house, and he went to bed with them on, and he knows he's not doing it.
So Lady Blind Wolf says, I have this really weird bump thing on my hand, and I don't know how the heck I even got it. Oh, I got something to tell you.
My neck.
Yes. And I had this thing on my pinky, and it's been there for a couple of years. You can see the little mark there, but it was something that was hard inside of my hand. And earlier this week, when I woke up, it was, my skin was like peeling, and now it's flat. But I have one in the other hand, the other pinky right there, like a bump, and I don't know why. And I also have one on my knee, the same as what my mom has on her ankle, and my sister has one on her ankle, exactly in the same spots they do, or
So
did.
my middle daughter, and it's explained to Dolores Cannon through a few people that she's regressed. The entities that did it said that it was like a transistor type thing or a transmitter that let them know where those individuals are. And once they become so familiar with your molecular makeup, they don't need those anymore. But if you move, that's a different story. You might get a new one in, or it just, but that's, I guess, mainly what they're for, is to track you.
And to track your, it's like your biometrics or something like that to check how your health is, because sometimes they have come in and they correct things and heal things in your body. Oh, right. Also during one of them right here, I've told you, I get this heat in my head. Well, when she was doing a regression with one of the ladies, she kept on talking about the heat right here.
There's also different types of implants, and this can also happen. The government have their own secret thing going on, and they also work with ETs, and those are different types of implants. They also have an implant that can like block receiving the good knowledge, if you know what I mean. You know, we have abilities, and the more that you practice high vibrational type motions and or should I say practice things that bring up your vibrations, the more those abilities will manifest. And who's to say that the government might not come in and maybe put something in there that could keep those abilities from getting any greater? You know, who knows why, you know. But yeah, so I mean, there's many things that they could be put in there for, but those are a couple of the things that I have read about, you know. Stephen Greer being one of them, and of course Dolores Cannon. Two of my heroes.
And for me, and I was telling you guys about this earlier, and I do want to talk about that for a second too, but for me, it was like 20 years ago that I was really into Sylvia Browne, and so were you, Carla. I mean, I even have all of her books on her religion, her church, Spiritus Novus Spiritus. And a lot of my beliefs and stuff came from her. And I believe that she was probably taught by Dolores Cannon. I think she was one of Dolores Cannon's students after, because Dolores Cannon was like the pioneer. She's the one that started all this. And I think it was by accident that it started. So now, as far as ghost experiences, how do you know that they're not alien? Exactly. And you with your servitor or your
it was revealed to me the day we recovered the memories, and this shook me. This really messed with me, guys, because you know my channel, if you followed it for a while, you know my dealings with incubus or succubus spirits. It was revealed to me when I recovered my memory that my incubus spirit was actually an extraterrestrial, and for Kundalini awakening or other purposes that needed to be awakened in me. And then with what Lady Blind Wolf was saying, there was an experience not long ago I had. It looked like shadow figures. It's like I woke up from a dream and I've seen these shadows in the room, and they all kind of like accumulated into one at the foot of my bed. And I couldn't really move, but I wasn't like fearful. But I was just kind of like, what the hell's going on, you know, groggy. And it was like climbing up onto me. And then I just passed right back out.
That's one of the things that they talked about, that the little girl, when she was regressed, talked about, that they would literally crawl. They weren't touching her. And these were, when she was talking about it, she said that these were like the praying mantis looking ones. So they had like the other legs, and they would like hover right over her. And she said that some of them were so tall that they would be at the end of the bed and hunch over like that and be able to be face to face by hunching over like that. And oh my goodness, it's not that they were bad, but it was our own perception of those scary things, right?
Right. I think that the incubus thing, all about that, I think it has something to do with hybridization contracts, if I'm being honest. I think it's like a image, a spectacular one for us, so it ain't as scary. And we can that way have some sort of a connection with it and still uphold whatever contract we made, if you believe that. We're tracked every day.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Nothing's
you
private
carry a
anymore.
phone with you all the time, or yeah. I mean, street, but I don't know. Carla, you've watched more, or you've listened to more of these recordings than what even I have. You said that there are some that are good and there's been bad, right?
Yes, because they're just like we are. They have free will. They have a choice. So, I mean, it just depends on their agenda. And, but there are those that are all about the light, all about love and light. And, you know, that's almost like there's levels of it. And the fact that they've been doing it for, you know, longer than we've been alive, messing with us. It's just that nobody talks about that. And if they did, they were crazy, you know. And now it is a little bit more acceptable to be talking about it and then realizing, oh my gosh, sleep paralysis. I think it's less likely that someone has not experienced it.
I mean, everybody I've talked to in these, most of them have had sleep paralysis, and they think it's just like some form of sleep disorder, right? I don't think so. I do not think so. No. Yeah. And she says it's more like a set of bumps, and it feels like the tip of an arrow, and it's right underneath my thumb. You can kind of see it, but you can definitely feel it. Exactly. Where do those things come from? I watched a guy who was doing, like he was a doctor, but he was doing operations on people, cutting out and finding little metal shards of stuff that were like transmitters, right? They had radio waves.
Wow.
So it's definitely, but I watched that years ago. I mean, years ago. So
Someone asked in chat if we know where they come from. The fact that there are so many. I've heard Palladian. I've heard, I believe it's Lyrian.
Arcturian, Orion.
If you've done any research on starseeds, it could definitely be from any of that. And anywhere is possible. There's so much that we just don't know. But I would find out, if you have any way of finding out if you're a starseed. You know, there's all sorts of little quizzes you can take, or get your birth chart done or something. You know, if you're a starseed, start there, because possibly that's who's contacting you.
I can almost guarantee that most of the people that come to these chants are starseeds. I can almost guarantee it.
You're probably right.
It would make sense with the three waves that Dolores talks about.
Come together and yeah.
Let me tell you something too. My husband, I love him dearly, but I will start trying to, and I've talked to you guys about this, but I will start to show him stuff that I'm watching, or that, you know, people are coming forward from the government. And this is not the first time. There's been somebody from like Canadian government who was in security that came forward like 5 years ago, that talked about that their government had been working with aliens. Then there was another one from British or the UK. He used to be in, I think, was it Nick Pope? Is that his name? And he also came forward saying that there had been, he's one of them that you always see on like Ancient Aliens and stuff like that. So it's nothing new.
Right.
But I just find it extremely weird that when I start to show my husband this stuff, he like is so like averted to it.
I have an idea about that.
He can't even look at it. It's like the Matrix. It's like, don't show me that. Nuh-uh. I mean, almost to a point of aggressively not wanting to see it.
I think that if you can be easily, and I don't mean that Jim is easily manipulated, but I noticed that during political times, a lot of people are. And so I'm wondering if that isn't also part of the agenda, especially if there's somebody in the household that is on to things, is able to see through, outside the matrix. If there's not something that's done to the other individual in that household to make it a little bit harder for that truth to come out. So maybe he has like an implant that it just keeps him like maybe making irritated or, something, just like happened in a couple of there was in one of the hybrid books that I read, it was about the 10 hybrids, their stories. And one lady actually had something that she had to have removed because anytime she was like thinking something that was right on the money, she would get a terrible migraine, and it was implanted up here. And they had it removed, and she was able to,
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Jaden has a horn there.
I almost feel like for some people, there is something that keeps them, whether it is medical that's put in them or
And you can tell
sort of
with the
frequency that is being put something.
You can tell.
Yeah.
Have you guys, also another thing that they talked about, and I told you guys this, that I was like, oh my God, I thought that this was a theory, right? I mean, I felt like this was a theory, and then I heard it, I was like, oh, I know it. But when you start reading something, and I don't care, it could be in the middle of the day, you're not tired, and it's something, or you start watching something that is like, you feel like important information that's maybe going to trigger something, and you fall asleep.
Yeah.
You get so incredibly tired that you can't keep your eyes open.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
That's something that they do also. If you're getting too much knowledge when you're not ready for it, and they can tell, which is another thing that they track, then they like back you off. And that's what the light does too. She said, the little girl said in the regression that it was the light that would take her up, but it was also the light that would make her go to sleep. It would make her extremely tired. So some sort of frequency or something that they can do in order to knock your ass out really fast. Because some of them have come on like really fast. I'm like, where the hell did that come from? Have you guys experienced that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the memory.
My son.
Forgetting.
Yep.
Your son too? Yeah. What's really incredible about that, and then my other son in New York too, Jetler, he has dwarfism, but I think that's DNA or something. But even though we're far away and he didn't know much, like it seems like we're all synchronized together in our experiences. Like my oldest, he's diehard, like I'm a reptilian starseed. I know that. And I know I'm here for a reason. And my other ones, like I know I'm of the same inner earth race. And yeah, they talked about the light and how it floated Jaden up and also set him down. But he also said it could make you sleepy. Also, the eyes on the extraterrestrials, he said they look like short grays, like children grays. And they'll come visit him and they'll be messing with him and like make him laugh by doing funny things with their eyes. They'll let him giggle a bit. And then he says they do something else and will look straight at him and he'll like go to sleep.
Wow.
Wow.
And
Like
he
they
says
can emit some sort of
they
frequency
open sideways.
Wow.
Is what he told me, that they would open sideways, the eyes.
Wow.
Hmm.
I only get contact from the giants, and they talk from Saturn, but that's just their transmitter in our sun system. Yeah, they are from outside our galaxy, but they say that the light tones are colonists. Wow.
Yeah.
I do believe that there are
Have you had
frequencies.
her on your channel to interview her?
Come on, come on.
Yeah, tell us
We
more.
want more.
Oh yeah.
Near where I live, there was a big investigation on the UFOs. It is a forest, and so many people came forward saying that they had seen it, including some Air Force men, a policeman, and lots who live nearby. Yeah, I've actually heard of stories where whole towns seen something.
Yeah.
Whole towns of people seen something, and it was like pushed under the rug. Oh, another thing that they said that they did. And you and I, or all three of us, we had been in the chat. We were watching videos, seeing. I think you would actually put it in our chat, Courtney, and it was a video of people like being froze, like all in weird, like yeah. They call it glitches, but they do that when they contact people. Sometimes, if they're not actually physically taking them, it looks like everything is just like completely frozen. That's another thing they talked about.
I know they're taking people astrally, and Jaden said one time his legs were frozen in the air when he returned to his body. Yeah, but then there's also birds and animals that were found frozen or bent or distorted. My own personal theory on that is perhaps I'm leaning toward the simulation, like maybe we're in a simulation, and when they come in and out, it's for a reason, so we can learn what we need to ascend, evolve, and then eventually it'll break away, that the matrix will fall, the simulation will know what base reality is, and I have a feeling they have a lot more to do with base reality.
Did you get to the part where they describe why there's sleep paralysis, on why it's so important for your body to be extremely still?
Ooh.
I'm not sure, Sissy. Tell us, please. You've got all this stuff. You've heard a lot of these. Please, yeah.
Well, if you're not completely still, and what you were talking about with the astral projection, because you're being pulled out, your body might physically still be laying in bed or where you're at, and they're pulling your whole spiritual self out of your body. So when you're being put back in, if you're not completely still, it causes bruising and other parts of your body to get damaged if you're not completely still.
What did you just wake up with this morning, honey? Courtney?
Bruises, and I have 2 incision marks in the same area on each side of my breasts. It looks like a gauged needle probed each side, and I have a lot of dried blood. I woke up with dried blood in my bra, and also another incision on my inner thigh, along with bruised finger marks on my inner thighs, and they were like probably about that big around. And also a rash on my tummy that it's red dots, and it forms a certain pattern. And I've only been getting the red dots off and on. This might be the 4th time since like 2020 that I've woken up with the red dots. But,
which is probably from something they stuck on your skin that was monitoring you.
Probably. I'm allergic to nickel. When they do the heart monitor things in like hospitals, nickel breaks me out as well.
Something that we were talking about too, though, before this started, she showed me before you came on, Sissy, she's got a whole bunch of little spots on her belly, right? The red marks.
Uh-huh.
And she said, almost looks like a design or something, or like, look at the, what are they called? Crop circles. that are coming out again. There was just another one that was discovered. And from what I understand, those are also messages, like decoded messages in the geometry, the design.
Wow.
Some of them have been hoaxes, but a lot of them have not been hoaxes.
You know what led me to even going down Dolores Cannon's rabbit hole was a book that I had found about the 10 hybrids, their stories. And some of them found out about their starseed origins and possibly being alien hybrid through the past life regression. So I started reading her books, and oh my gosh, if you've not started reading her books, oh, I would definitely recommend it, because if you've had sleep paralysis or, any of those things that we talked about in the beginning, the chances that, you've been contacted are very real. And even memories that I might have possibly been remembering wrong are now clear as day from the time I was a child. I'm like, oh my gosh, wow. And it's like, everything just opened up and validated. Dolores Cannon, I love you. And I know you're here, you can hear this.
Yeah.
Exactly, Sissy. And what was it? Oh, somebody had said, yeah, they saw a video when everyone was on a standstill. It was very intriguing. The video that you showed us, they were like in weird positions.
Like contorted. Yeah,
which was not even possible. And they were going around. Nothing was holding them up. Nothing was holding them up. Carla, do you remember Mom's story? When she said that she felt that something had pulled her to the top of the stairs?
Yeah.
And only like this much of her heel was on the top of the stairs. She wasn't holding on to anything. She had no power either way. She said she felt a force holding her from the front and a force trying to push her from behind. And she was just standing still. She couldn't move. It was like something was doing that to her.
I have a theory. Oh, go ahead, because I think I see Miss Courtney wants to say something.
I was just going to say, when I recovered my memories, for one, I now just identify as a freaking hybrid, and I think a lot of us are. But also, when I was a kid, that reminded me, my sister, okay, I always held a grudge since childhood because I thought she would lie on me to get me in trouble. She'd go to Mom and be like, Courtney snuck out again last night. And it would be nights I did not sneak out. Like I was grounded for like a year after getting caught. And after that, like, I was like, okay, but I finally asked her not long ago, like a couple of weeks ago, like, why did you do that? Because after Mom, we were just talking, and she was like, I would go in your room at night because I'd be scared, because she has sleep paralysis. Like almost every night. She don't even sleep with her significant other anymore because it's that bad. Every night. She's terrified of it.
And she's a twin.
Mm-hmm. A fraternal twin. And she goes, you would not be there. And then in the morning, you would appear back there. And I would also be clothed. And I did not get dressed. I would lay my school clothes out for the next morning, but I would wake up fully clothed, even with my shoes on. And that too, my mom would be like, yeah, you did sneak out. And I'm like, I didn't.
Wow.
So I have a theory. I think that because of the things that the world has gone through, repeatedly, over thousands of years, the catastrophic events that like totally changes our geography is what we're headed into. Maybe not in the next 100 years. Who knows? I personally think that we're going to see some of it. And I believe that this contact from the benevolent entities is to keep us either from experiencing it or raising everyone else's vibrations around us so that we don't experience the pain of it.
Right.
that we become the higher being that we were always meant to be, helping us to remember. And I believe it's exactly what has happened every, couple thousands of years
Mm-hmm.
that wiped out civilizations. I believe that that's why it is happening. Like it's amped up.
I'm starting to wonder if they don't just take people when they're evolved to where they need to be and then seed them in other areas when these
They
civilizations
said that they've been
seemingly
doing that. Yes.
disappear, like a whole civilization or a whole tribe or a whole city all at once, like that.
That's what the hybridization is all about. They are trying to do better with our DNA so that we are able, when the new Earth comes, to repopulate the new Earth.
Yep.
Yes, that was in one of the things.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. But I did want to mention this. She says, do you ever have like a loss of time, i.e., look at the clock and maybe 10 minutes has gone by and you have no idea what you had been doing?
Every day.
Yeah. But you know what, Carla? Do you remember when we were little and Mom took us to one of her guy friends' house when we were little kids? And it was like solstice, and it was supposed to be the shortest day of the year or something like that. And I said, where did the day go by? Do you remember that? It was like the quickest day that I had ever. I'm just remembering that. It was like the quickest day ever. Mom knows. We'll have to talk to her about it again. But I said, I couldn't believe it.
I'll be right back.
Okay. That it just seemed like the whole day had just like passed by like really fast, and I didn't know. And I was a little kid.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just like remembering that. But
It's been happening to me lately. It actually happened today too. I thought I was writing. The last thing I remembered was typing on my computer. And then it's like, I think I looked at the clock and it's like black and an hour passed and I'm not even writing anymore. My laptop was away from me. And I'm like, what happened? But that movie, oh, sorry.
what, They Live?
No, that one's good too. What was it called? It was about a family. They had birds flying into their windows. They heard ringing in the ears. They were losing time, and at the end, you find out. Yeah.
Yeah.
What movie was that?
The whole family was.
That was good.
And that's the thing. They have talked about it being like family, DNA. So, yeah, wowza. Another thing, too. I'm sorry, what, Sissy?
I said my audio was messed up because, one of the chillins was calling.
Oh. Another thing. Gosh. Oh, the owl bit. The white owl.
Mm-hmm. Seen one in 6 months.
Remember us talking about The Fourth Kind, the movie The Fourth Kind?
Yeah.
And when she was hypnotizing her clients or her patients, that's initially what they kept on seeing was a white owl until they dug deeper, and then it just broke open a whole bunch of stuff. Carla's been seeing one, and that's one of the things that they talk about in the books. One of the ladies, that's what she kept on seeing was a white owl, but it wasn't really an owl.
No.
It's been ravens for us. I definitely think the ravens are not what I thought, a couple weeks ago. But
do you remember what she said the owl ended up being?
A shapeshifter?
He was on the Galactic Federation, and he was it was kind of like a mission. So he was, I guess, what you would call an angel.
A watcher.
He was there to find somebody worthy of that information, and they thought that she was. So and it was like to decide, should we or shouldn't we interfere with mankind and give them this information, because otherwise we're going to interfere in a way that they don't want us to interfere. which there's a movie coming out called The Eternals that I cannot wait to see it, because I do believe that it is like soft disclosure on that. Yeah. I'm really excited about it. I love me some superhero stuff anyway.
Me too. It looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
1 hoax in 10, and no one will believe the 9 true messages. Exactly.
Right.
That's why they do it.
That's exactly right.
That's why they do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just one more way to keep people from knowledge. Exactly.
Yep.
Oh no. You are going to feel the pain of it. You are just not going to be emotionally connected to your body as you are now. And that will make the pain something the body. Yeah.
Yeah. In one of her books, it's called Jesus in the Essenes. And then there was another one where it was called They Walked with Jesus. And it was both like they were referring to the eyewitness account of Jesus being crucified. And he left his body before he died. He left his body. He so that he didn't actually feel it.
Have to go through all the suffering.
Yeah. But it was one of those that secret knowledge that was taught to him by the Essenes. And I believe that. I believe that there are, mystery groups all over the world that have been sitting on this sacred knowledge. And that's one of those things that you learn how to leave your body, but you can do it at will. We might leave our body without knowing that we do that, or with a little help. But one of the things that is taught
astral projection kind of is, or astral travel. He just never went back into his body.
Yeah.
He chose not to.
He was able to change his whole molecular makeup and become something else if he needed to. Go up on other places in the world,
It's interesting because I remember some traumatic experiences, and I heard it's usually the case. But you know how they say it's called disassociate, and they describe floating above their body, watching everything happen.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the same thing. I've been trying to practice awake. Yep. Not successful yet, but
I am of the thinking, and I have been for pretty much as long as I can remember, that aliens, angels, gods and angels and demons and what have you are extraterrestrials or interdimensional beings or what have you. So that correlates what she's saying here. That's awful funny that there is a lot of vehicles used to have correlation with owls like Hecate and Santa Morta. Yeah.
Odin, who was that Irish goddess? She was cursed to become an owl for trying to get out of her marriage. But I forgot her name. Yep.
I don't know.
They made her out of flowers.
Oh, wow.
In the second, or in the next book that was supposed to be read after Custodians is the one that I'm reading now. It's called The Convoluted Universe, book 1. And I'm not really far into it because I do have it on Audible. So now we're not allowed to wear earbuds at work. So I just listen to it in the car. It's that whole
wear a hoodie.
Human ego management thing. So I listened to it in the car, and it's taken me a little longer to get through it. But that book talks about Atlantis and how they mastered all the secret knowledge, and they became like gods. And I'm not going to say the whole civilization, but the majority of them were part of an elite government that governed the rest of the are what you would call, I guess, the normal ones that don't think the way we do, or, stuck in the matrix type thing. Anyway, so they govern those people, and the slave-like people believed that they were gods because they had all these powers, and they became bored with it. The the elite, you know, the ones that were able to master these powers, the abilities. Yeah. And one of the things that they were doing, I guess, was taking like animals and manipulating their DNA with just their minds. And they would like give them human characteristics, and or they could do things with humans and turn them into animals, vice versa. They were just being stupid with these powers, and it was against our universal laws, and was one of the reasons, I guess, why these other beings, the ones that, you know, I believe are contacting us now, that they came in and they interfered and they said, okay, you know, this is it. You either stop or, you know, we're going to start over because this is a failed experiment.
Mhm.
So, but there's a show coming out called Sweet Tooth where these babies are born like they have
different animal parts and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thinking, what is that?
Netflix. Netflix. You know?
Yeah, there's so
I'm
much
seeing agenda.
Yeah.
Is it agenda or is it disclosure?
I think that, you know, each one of us is channeling something, whether we realize it or not. And we're like, oh, you know what? This would be a fantastic story, and I'm going to tell it.
But see, here's the thing. I think something that they have done for a very long time when it comes to disclosure things, they put it in the public eye so that people can see it like a movie or whatever. And then when somebody says this is really happening, that, oh, you're just deluded. This is just your right. So it's a weapon that's been used in order to cover up what's really happening by putting it in plain sight. You see what I mean?
I do.
Oh, I think, and I was right about this. I've seen it in the comments in the video I sent you, ladies, of the news clips, and I was like, well, it's starting. My mind just completely went blank.
About the agenda. You're seeing the agenda in it, and with them starting to are they contacting you? See this
out the window like that raven. Shit.
Are you guys forgetting stuff? Like, will you be in like major train of thought kind of thing and forget whatever?
I just was. Yeah.
That's what I mean. I'm talking to everybody though. I mean, across the board, is it like worse than it's ever been?
Yeah.
Yes. And that is one of the signs that they said too, after there's been like integration and stuff like that, you'll just completely, like, they have to get integrated again.
Oh, I remember now. Sorry. Dude.
See, they're taking it away. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Oh, people need to start questioning why they did this. And I've seen it in the comments that they are, and even I left a comment. So I encourage anyone to push the government further. Like, why all these years were people murdered to cover up things? Why were people shamed, ridiculed, left alone to fend for themselves? That can't be healthy. How many people mentally broke because they were alone in this and shamed? And then all for them to come out and go, oh, JK. What? Like, I think people should ask the right questions, basically. Whew. That was crazy. Every time I would get that back, it would just... Sorry, guys.
Doesn't have to do with sweaty balls.
I think some of it is that as well.
Oh, I do too.
They are monitoring. But one of the things that I just heard on there, she had asked, Dolores Cannon had asked Janice, or the alien that was speaking through Janice, whether or not they are monitoring people that are monitoring UFO activity and stuff like that. And they said, yes. Why? Because they are protecting those people, because those people are helping to make people aware in a fall away, because the reason why they're not just coming out and saying, guess what, we're here, is because people are going to panic. They're going to be in a state of fear. And then you've got agendas that are saying it's coming, they're against us, they're going to, annihilate us. And if they were going to do that, they would have done that already. I mean,
do I think there's baneful ones possibly working? Yeah, but there's more good, I believe, than the bad ones with the bad agenda working with the sweaty balls.
Just like Carla said, though, whether it's human beings, whether it's, there's always agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What side of the agenda do you fall on?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, what if these agendas are to actually preserve the earth? Because another thing that they were talking about is if the destruction of earth happens, it affects everything.
Yes.
Not just earth, it affects the universe and other universes and other planets. It affects everything.
It's almost like the timeline, the alternate reality and the different timelines that exist. It's because it's like they may see all the other timelines that we have existed in, and there's like, probably 50 million endings to this, and they know the right one, but one person makes that wrong decision and we're headed down this alternate path.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe in that alternate, the timeline thing. That's more apparent, like with, the Philadelphia experiment. That was one thing. Another one was the Mandela effect.
But see, that's the thing. I think we can actually personally have something to do with what timeline we personally end up on.
Yeah, I do.
Because it's all simultaneous.
I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've had so many dreams. That's what I was telling the girls. Little plug here. I got the book here. This is Courtney's book, by the way. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But this is my dream journal that I started in January. I think the first one was like January 20th. Yeah, January 20th was my very first dream that I wrote down in this year. And thus far, I have recorded 37 dreams since January 20th that I remembered. There has been so many other ones that didn't make the book because as soon as I woke up and I kept telling myself, remember, that I didn't. It just completely, I lost it. But man, Courtney was reminding me of a dream that I had had. And I don't even remember the dream. That is why it is so friggin' important to write them down. I'm telling you. And with the dates, that's what I do. With the dates and everything on them, the year and everything, so that you can go back and see. Because I have definitely had many prophetic dreams that you forget. But then when you go back and you look, you go, oh my gosh, those were messages.
And you get them strong.
Yeah, and they were given to me. But some of the dreams, like what you said, Carla, with the memories, they were kind of skewed, that you had dreams when you were younger, and then as you get older, then the realization comes. That was another thing that they talked about, was that they would change your memories of stuff in order to manipulate you until you are ready.
Yes.
Until you are ready. Mm-hmm. So pay attention. I'm telling you.
That's a big one.
Yes.
That's a big one. You will not receive until you are ready.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. But yeah, I did want to plug this.
Thank you.
This is an excellent book.
Yeah, it is.
But for anybody that has got this book, I do want to tell you, Courtney put a lot of work into this and put page numbers and all that in there and chapter numbers, and Amazon did not. So she is working with them in order to try to correct that. But it was all in all of her drafts. But so if you get one and it's not in there, you know why.
And contact me on my Facebook group page, Destiny Bloodline Sagas, if you've already purchased that. I'm looking for a different publishing company to help me. I will give you guys a free copy of the audiobook for anyone that already purchased that one.
It's so good. It's so juicy.
Oh,
It's
it
hard to
gets
put down.
so deep. It's like everything that we've talked about, and it's amazing.
Mhm.
The message is so important, the unity message that is in this, because
Yes.
I don't want to give a plot away, but there's many different kinds of star seeds in this book, and they are working together, right?
Against a lot of pressure.
Right,
Things manipulating them.
right.
The benign things that we would not think twice about, but it could possibly cause strife or resentment among people. But I think it's important for humanity to overlook things because we are human. None of us are perfect. What's important for our survival is unity.
Unity
Yes.
across the board. So you hear stuff about different kinds of aliens and stuff like that. So when we're talking about some, like you might hear reptilian, like reptilians all bad. I don't think so. I think there are some that have different agendas and some that have good agendas that want to help. And that is just like humanity. That's like any other. So don't be in fear.
Right.
The worst thing I've ever heard anybody say, and I think we probably have all said it at one time, because maybe at that point in our lives we weren't ready, is I already know the truth. Why should I listen to what they have to say? No, you don't, or you'd have never said that. Everybody has truth in them. And until we put it all together, we don't have the whole truth, because our higher self speaks to us. Each of us.
We're a collective.
And then, exactly, then we are a collective, because that higher self is connected to the collective. And that, I mean, that's, I think that's my opinion. But I
That's
think,
mine too, Sissy.
Yeah,
It's mine too.
you know,
I agree.
One last thing that I wanted to mention, because we are at an hour, a little over an hour. I do want to mention before I close it out is we have decided to create a Discord for our sisterhood. And this is going to be where it is women helping to support other women and be in a network and being able to talk about these things, talk about our experiences, talk about any upcoming events that you want other people to join in with you, stuff like that. If you want to be a part of it, it is like a chat room. These are private. These are 100% private. This is not on Facebook. This is not, it is Discord.
Safe place.
It is a safer place that we are creating this environment for all of us ladies. And if you want to join, just contact one of us. Email. I mean, mine is support@amethystascension.com. And we can send you invites because this is private. So it's invite only. Okay. And there's going to be, like I said, dreams where you can, this is another thing that I find that's really important. And it goes along with what Carla was saying was we are all pieces of that puzzle. So when we start talking about our dreams and experiences and you think, oh, that was just kind of crazy, but then you put it in there because we're always talking. And then let's say, for instance, you tell the other person and the other person's like, oh my God, you're not going to believe what happened to me today and how that is resonating with me. Like another piece of it is unraveled. Yes, it's like that. Mm-hmm. So dreams, but this is a safe place where you can put those dreams, and it's not going to be people that ridicule you for your beliefs or anything like that. We are there to support. And if you have something going on your channel that you would like other people to, like a live like this, you can post it in there. There's a part in there for you to post it so that we can go and watch it and all that. So if you are interested, contact me or Courtney. Is there an email for you for them to contact you?
All lowercase, Green, Courtney, spelled CORTNEY 6 at Gmail.
Okay. Or support it. I will, after this uploads, put those places for you to contact us so that we can give you an invite if it's something that you're interested in. And I think that we can also do a voice. So if you don't want to be typing all the time, but it's an actual active chat with several different channels for safe spaces for these kind of things. Okay.
We want to create a true sisterhood, a true empowering bond.
Right. And because people are in different parts of the world, and it is good for us to be able to, in a private manner, talk about those things that are happening in our neck of the woods in case something happens with like media and governments and stuff like that. Sweaty balls.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yes, you don't have to be on Facebook. It's just going to be Discord.
You will have to create a Discord profile, though, if you do not have one, but it is really worth it.
Yes. What did she say here? The different races are at war. The earth is a diplomatic meeting place. That's why you are not allowed to know the full truth, because that would bring the wars here and the peace talks would crumble. Yeah. Plus, I believe that if one person is to know all the truth, what they said in that, they would go crazy. That any one person can hold all that.
No.
So I think it's partially that too. And so looks like with this pandemic and all them people crazy as they went out and bought up all the toilet paper, some people just can't process stuff. Exactly. Unfortunately, that's the case.
That surprised me.
I think it's just programming. Like I said with my husband, he loves and he trusts me, but when I start showing certain things, he just like, whatever. But he does not want to hear any of it.
There's more now than there ever has been of people that are leaning towards the spiritual truth.
Yeah.
Yes. So, well, thank you everyone for joining us. Carla, Courtney, do you guys have anything to add before we wrap this up today?
It's really fun. I love you ladies, and I love you guys who came.
I
don't know what that was. I just
we're just being extra, right?
Yep. I'm gonna get a t-shirt that's like extra AF. Like, y'all know I'm extra.
extra, read all about it. He cracked me up. All right, guys. We love you. Have a good rest of your weekend. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.